right, guys. So today will be the last day of the chapter, and then I haven't put up what we're doing yet, but tomorrow and Wednesday, we're gonna do practice tests, cause this was quite a bit in this chapter, and then on Thursday, you're gonna take the chapter 8 test, and then Friday, Monday, what was that? Friday, Monday, Tuesday maybe, we're learning stuff in the next chapter and then taking a quiz. And then that'll be right about the time that we're starting term 5, and that's when we'll get into the MCA test prep. I think the very first day of term 5, we're taking a quiz. So, this kind of just summarizes what we did in this chapter. So remember at the beginning, we did Pythagorean theorem, and what we're doing right now, you can't use Pythagorean theorem, and do you guys know why that is? There's no right angles, very good. We did 30, 60, 90 rules, we did 45, 45, 90 rules, okay? And those had right angles. Then we use our sine, cosine, and tangent ratios, where sine was opposite over hypotenuse. That'll be on the quiz. Then we solved a normal right triangle, where we were given 3 things. We had to find 3 things using Pythagorean theorem and our sine, cosine, and tangent ratios. And then we got into law of sines and law of cosines, and we spent a day or 2 on law of sines. We spent 3 days now. This is our 3rd day on law of cosines. So with law of cosines, there's 2 different triangles that you can use for law of cosines. One is if you have a side angle side. The other one is if you have 3 sides. There's a better shelter right by his, do you see it there? So it also works if you have side, side, side. Did it work? Yeah. Okay. Now here, notice over here, you guys, if you ever have 2 angles given, that means you're using law of sines. If you're given 2 sides or 3 sides, that's when you start with law of cosines. So for today, they're gonna give us a triangle, and we're gonna add 1 part to this. We have to say which law would we start with, and our answer would be either law of sines or law of cosines. How you decide is in what you're given. So again, if you're given 2 angles, you're gonna start with law of sines. For law of cosines, and this chart is on your cheat sheet, if you're ever given 2 sides or 3 sides, you go to cosines. So this is what your assignment is gonna look like today. The only difference is you're gonna add a step at the beginning where you're gonna say what law you start with, okay? So I always draw these out because I struggle if I don't. So A, B, C, A is 82, B is 44, and little b is 11, little a is here, little c is here. So one of the things we have to start with is what is the law that we're going to use first. Then we're gonna say, well, we have to find measure of angle C. We have to find little a, as well as we have to find little c, okay? So if I look here, let's find angle C first. Is that easy if you know 2 of the angles? Right? Wouldn't you just add together 82 plus 44, which is 126, and subtract that from 180? and we'd get 54, okay? Now, another thing we have to do is say, would we start with law of sines or would we start with law of cosines? Notice we're given two angles. When you are given two angles, these two do not have two angles in them. So you're going to start with law of sines, okay? Now, law of sines. We just found this too to be 54. For law of sines, you need to know an angle and its opposite side. And what we know here is angle B and little b. So I'm going to go sine of B over little b. Now, law of sines does not matter which side you find first, A or C. For sines, it doesn't matter. So let's say, okay, I'm going to find A first. So I can go sine of A over little a. Or maybe you want to keep with how cosines is and do the smaller of the two angles left. Either way is fine. So now I'm going to go sine of 44 over B is 11 equals sine of A, which is sine of 82 over little a. And then I'm going to do cross products. So here I have sine 44a equals 11 sine of 82. Now this is sine of 44 times a, so I'm going to divide by sine of 44. And then I get a equals, and remember when you punch this in, you're going to hit enter before you divide by sine of 44, okay? So what I'm going to do is 11 sine 82 enter divided by sine of 44, and that is 15.68. Is that what you guys got? Okay, 15.68, and that goes right here. Okay, then what I have left is I still have to find little c. And what I would do here is I would just use law of sines a second time, okay? So I'm gonna go, you need that one angle and its opposite side that you know, so I'm gonna go sine of B over B equals sine of C over C. So sine of B is sine of 44, little b is 11, sine of C is sine of 54, and we're looking for little c. So now I'm going to multiply this. I get sine 44c equals 11 sine 54. This is multiplied, so we're going to divide by sine 44. And when I do that, I have to be careful of here is I have to hit enter before I divide. Okay, so if I go to my calculator then, I am going to do 11 sine 54 enter divided by sine 44. Did you guys get 12.81? Okay. 12.81. Now, when you guys take your quiz this week or test, this would be a problem that's worth 8 points. You'd get 2 points for each of this. Okay? All right, now we're gonna do one more. So if I go to this one, whoops. If I go to this one, I'm gonna draw out my triangle. A, B, C. this is little a, this is little b, this is little c. A is 78.3, B is 7, C is 11, okay? So over here, I need to find what law to start with. I need to find little a. I need to find the measure of angle B as well as the measure of angle C. Okay? Now, do you get this one is 2 sides and an angle? What would we start with on this if it's 2 sides and an angle? Wouldn't it be cosines? So we're going to come down here and put cosines. But this is where you have to be careful. With law of cosines, you have to go in a specific order. And on your cheat sheet, you guys have the special rules for side angle side. And then in your homework today, you'll also get side triangles like we did on Friday, and there's special rules for those too. So what this tells us to do is use the law of cosines to find the third side. And our third side that we're looking for is A. And if I go back to our formulas, we are going to use this right here because we're looking for little a. Okay? So if I go back, this is going to be a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. Is that correct? So now I'm to the point where I can substitute in what I know. So I'm looking for a squared. B squared is 7 squared. C squared is 11 squared minus 2. B is 7. C is 11. And then it's cosine of 78.3. Okay? What do you have to be careful of in this problem that you could see some students forgetting to do? Like, I think everybody would type this in correctly, but you have to take the square root when you're done, okay? Don't forget that. So if I go 7 squared plus 11 squared minus 2 times 7 times 11, cosine 78.3. Did you guys get like 138.77? And then that is a squared. So what I have to do now is go second square root, and then I can pull that answer down by going second answer. And when I do that, I get 11.78. So A is 11.78. And that goes right here. All right. Then what we have is we have to go back to our rules, and it says your second step, you're going to find the smallest of the 2 angles that are left. Smallest of the 2 angles that are left. And if I go down here, notice that angle B is across from a 7 and angle C is across from an 11. And then I also could write this in now that I know it, okay? Would I find angle B first or angle C? B, because 7 is less than 11. Now, some of you may choose to use law of sines again. Some may use law of cosines. It's completely up to you. What do you think I should do? Cosines or sines? Sines? Okay, let's do sines. So we're looking for angle B, okay? So you have to know an angle and its opposite side. So I'm gonna go sine of A over little a equals sine, and we said we have to find B first, so sine of B over little b. So then when I substitute in, angle A is 78.3, little a is 11.78, and we're looking for angle B, so this is still sine of B, and little b is 7. So now I do cross products, and personally I like the one with the sine of B to be on the left, and you would put the 11.78 in front. And then here also put the number in front of sine 78.3. Now this is 11.78 times that, so I'm going to divide by 11.78. And then I'm going to get sine of B equals, when you type this in, that is your sine of your angle, so it should be a decimal less than 1. If it's not, you've done something wrong. So now I'm going to go, and I'm going to go 7 sine 78.3, enter, divided by 11.78. Now, that is the sine of your angle, so what do we do then? Second sine, and then you can pull that down by going second answer or second negative. Did you guys get 35.58? Okay. So, what did I say that was? Okay, thanks. So then that goes up here. And now we know 2 of our angles. So is it easy to find the third angle? Don't you just go 78.3 plus 35.58, which would be, did you guys get 103? Okay, and then you'd go 180 minus that. And we would get 76.12. Is that what you got? 66. So that, oh, I bet I see what I did wrong. This should have been 113. Yeah. This should have been 113, so it's 66.12. Thank you. And then this is your answer. Okay? So now if you guys go to the sheet that's on Schoology, okay, you're gonna do the ones for day 3, but I wanna show you one thing. When you guys go to day 3, there's a problem, I think on the second sheet that I assigned for day 2. I wanna say it's number 8. But it's assigned for day 2 and day 3. So you already did it for day, let me see if I can bring that up here quick. Yeah, I believe it is. So, when you guys look at this, on the second side, here it is. Notice for day 3 and day 2 on the second sheet I assigned number 8. You don't have to do it today, so on the second side you're only doing number 5. Okay? Everybody got that? So on the front side you're doing 6, and on the back side you're doing 1. All right. And then again, there are answers up front on the podium, but they're rounded. So, like I said, it might be easier to check your answers with a friend.